Now I will give you 30 seconds, only 30 seconds. I will play a timer now. You have to do a small exercise. If you don't have a piece of paper, just imagine that you are doing something in your mind. Write or draw a scenery or anything that comes to you in your mind. You have 30 seconds. Write a scenery or something that you think you can relate that very close to your heart. You have 30 seconds. Will you do that, please? And your time starts now. If you don't have a piece of paper, just imagine that you are doing something. You have 15 seconds to go. Ten seconds. Five. Yeah, your time ends now. Now I'd like to ask this question to you. Do you have those two hills? Yes. And a coconut tree? A couple of birds which are flying there? And a temple? Stairs? A road perhaps? And a lake? Well, if I ask this question, what A stands for? Everybody? But is that the only thing that stands for A? There are a lot of things. Right? Now, what I'm trying to say here is, you already went to Audi. Well, how many of us are book smart? I think most of us are book smart. That's the reason why we are here. We got our A's, we got our 4s, and we got our distinctions. Well, but is there something more? I did my master's in geology. I was very passionate about getting into something called paleontology, and later I realized, man, there is nothing that I can see. I was lost, only to discover that, well, I think I may have to switch over and I did my MBA. Till my MSc, I think the journey that I traveled perhaps has not given me anything. I'll tell you what I got from that later. I believe it's very important for all of us to be street smart as well. You saw that car, it's going to come now. What I'm going to say here is, this car is ours. We are instrumental in making this car, designing this car. This engine is ours and we are driving it. And that's your car. It may be 800, it may be Zen, or it may be a BMW, I don't care, but it's your car. But do you know what? Unfortunately, in our own car, we are driving as a backseat drivers, and we have allowed somebody else to drive our car for us. Maybe your parents, your friends, I don't know. If I ask one of you, why did you do BE? Because, I think that's what everybody do after 12. My friends were there in that college, and that's one reason why I went there. But do you know actually what is it that you may want to do? By the time you discover the way it happened to me, I don't want that to happen to you. I'm just trying to give my example here. And another slide which is going to come very shortly now. Our car, we are driving it for somebody else. That individual has got dreams and he has ambitions and goals, and we are driving him as a driver. The now objective of my speech or this education session here is to see if you can get into the driving seat of your car. Do you want to?
Yes.
Yes. Will you be able to relate this? Maybe some 15 or 20 years ago, high school or your neighborhood, you saw this kid who was not as smart as you, not as intelligent as you, maybe economically, not as prosperous perhaps as you, and you thought maybe he may lead a life generally people of that kind will lead. But today, just try to recollect that individual. Imagine, I'm sure you'll be able to get someone in your imagination. That individual is doing much, much, much better than you. Do you have someone whom you can relate? If you can spend some time, I'm sure you will be able to pull in a lot many people who are not as smart as you but do things much, much better than you today. That's because they've been able to relate. Book smart, street smart. We all do education. Let me tell you this story. Do you all know the capsule story? Many years later, I don't want to tell that story because you know it. Many years later, the grandson of the capsule will be walking on the same road and he sleeps under the same banyan tree. When he wakes up, he'll discover there's no capsule. And he knows what to do. He will remove his cap and throws it on a ground. He knows. But to his dismay, a baby monkey jumps and takes that cap and runs away. He says, no, this is not the way it is. He said, no. Why? No, this is not the way it is. Because my grandfather said, when I throw a cap, you guys are supposed to throw all those caps. For which he says, even I had a grandfather. What are you learning in your education? Are you learning things your grandfather way or your way? I had a chance. Yes, you have to learn your way. I had a chance to attend to my niece's graduation ceremony. When I saw them wearing this graduation dress, this is what I saw on their heads, higher me. Unfortunately, not higher education will make you hireable. You agree. During 10th, you wanted to be something. My friend before, I wanted to be a pilot. Then in PU you realize I need to go to BE because that's where everybody goes. No offense to software engineers. I wanted to be a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer. Is that all? I don't think so. When I wake up in the morning and go to Bangalore and see this electronic city, traffic, all vehicles go towards one way. The other way is always free. You have no idea how comfortable for you to come the other, if I want to go to Koramangala, I can just glide, but people in the morning, they are busy going somewhere. The reason is, everybody thought that's the only way that they have. You join after BE, and you come here and be a software engineer. After 1 or 2 years, you still wonder, what do you think I should be doing with my life? This is not life. Then you quit your job, and you go and do your MBA, and you come back, and again you wonder, what do you think I should be doing with my life? You remember the 3-idiot thing? Yeah. Where Amir Khan says, ये तो BE किया, इसके बाद MBA किया, अभी US में बैंक का नौकरी किया. No, come on, what do you want in your life? Well, I don't know what. That's what we are called the last generation. Yeah? We are called the last generation because we ask so many questions. Why? Well, my friends, let me answer. How do you think we can take control of our vehicle? The reason is, when your parents were competent, they just have to outperform somebody to the left and right. And glad that you've not revealed my age, but he told me how many years of experience I have. During my generation, I can never call, I have to outperform people in my college. But here, in your case, most of the people here, I think even in my case, if I have to succeed in the future, you have to perform people of the same age across the world. And it's pretty tough, isn't it? The paradigm here is, well, the reason is the extent of things that we have learned, A for, and draw something, and what you want to do. Okay, and when you think everything is actually thrown and taught to you, and you think that's what the life is, and that's why the traffic is so heavy. And take this example, even the simple communication, the extent that we have learned. Some of you may be taking down what I'm saying, and then you read, and it's totally opposite. First is writing, reading, speaking, and listening. And when you come to a corporate world, or when you want to take things the better way, if you do this, it will not work. The extent is totally opposite. I believe most of you may know. When you are in a discussion like this, negotiation perhaps, well, listen to what someone is saying. And then when you listen, you are in the position to align the thought that you have about that thing which is being discussed, which you are discussing. Then you can ask the right questions. After asking right questions, read in the sense comprehend. Then you write it down. Don't think we are doing things in totally opposite way. And if you continue to do things the way you have learned and try to expect new things, I don't think it will happen. Miracle happens only when Titanic sinks. When only one person survives. Otherwise, not many people will die. Let me come back here to the next slide. How to get into your driver's seat. Spend some time alone every day. What's the mission of your life? What do you want to do? And how do you think you will go there? And you may have a goal. You may have a strategy. But try to revert. When you try to spend time with yourself, sometimes miracles will happen. You have no idea what you will foresee. Just like in 3 years, you realize that I don't want to be an engineer, I want to be someone else. And you'll become a photographer. Well, if that's what you want to do, please go and do it. And here, the next slide, how to get into the driver's side is try walking with somebody who challenges you. This is like, I know a friend who went to US after his master's in physics and wanted to do his PhD. There, the group of panelists, they asked him questions, tell me this, tell me this, tell me this, and later they told him, glad we met, and you know the history of physics, let us teach you physics now. So, you are spending time with people who know things, they know what you know. Spend time with people who challenge you. Now the next slide here, it takes time. How to get into the driver's side. Successful bosses have good communication skills. And they learn from people, including their employees. Learn. And how do you learn? It's left to you. Are you learning it right? It's left to you. I remember there's somebody who had told me the other day, this man who was sleeping again under the same banyan tree, this intelligent guy, he said, you know English, you are good at most of the things, and I believe you will be very successful if you get up and do something. He'll say, what do you think I should do? Do some work. And then maybe you can have people working and assisting for you, and then maybe you can start your own export-oriented company. I was told that the neighboring island have a lot of demand for this kind of work, the competency that you have. And then do what? Then you can really relax and have fun in your life. What do you think I'm doing now? Now, that attitude is where I see here. If you want to learn from people, from everyone around. And the competencies that you have, bring it to action. There is no point in having all the skills and not doing anything. Will it help? No. ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡು. ಅವ್ರು ಇವನು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದ ಈಗ. Why? Because whatever I told you, they were able to relate things. Right? The next slide here is walk in such a way that makes you boss look. It's not a flat thing. Walk in such a way that everybody thinks like, why is he putting so much of things into it? You know that Michelangelo story? When he was working hard, this guy said, take some rest, man. He'll say, no. Do you know what? There is an angel which is imprisoned in this marble. I need to work hard now to release her. I just want to work hard to release her. Do you think you are working hard to release the passion that you have? It's not a flattery. If somebody calls it a flattery, let them call it. It's fine. I'd like to end this with Martin Luther King's famous quote where he says, even if you are a sweeper, it's okay. But sweep in such a way that even after long you've gone, people will remember that there used to be a sweeper who used to sweep things so well. Get into your car and take the driver's seat. Thank you.